The Miami Heat, Stugotz, wins by 3. Zeller gave them 4.
Yep.
The difference in the game is they can withstand the Zeller minutes. This improbable dark arts of a sorcery team can have Jimmy Butler not play particularly well. You'd think you'd need him to be Jimmy. You'd need him to be maximum Jimmy in order to beat Jokic or the MVP at the height of his powers.
Especially on the road.
Especially in a place where you haven't won in 7 years, especially in a place where Denver is not only not lost at home in the playoffs, hasn't lost at home since March.
What month is it?
Since March. And so you drag around Lowry and Zeller, and you club Denver over the head with that? With that.
Jeff Van Gundy's convinced that Kyle Lowry's playing well. I don't know what he's watching.
He's doing what Kyle does. He's running around, getting in people's way, hitting the occasional big shot, then he comes out.
No, it'll be listen, they can withstand Zeller and Lowry going minus 14 in 8 minutes as long as, okay, Kyle, no one else on the team will turn the ball over. You'll do it 3 or 4 times. Just hit 3 threes and get off the court. Hit somebody, strip somebody, flop and get a cheap call, get an offensive rebound and get off the court.
I feel like I'm our Kyle Lowry. Like, I do a bunch of things throughout the game that sometimes you're like, that was kind of helpful. But then there's just a few times where you're like, that was not helpful at all.
You called yourself Kevin Love last week.
Oh, well, I'm a lot of people.
Why are you Kevin Love?
How about Kevin Love adjustment? Huh? Who could have seen that coming? Oh, me.
Yes, this is the I Told You So show. Amin El-Hassan, you can check out what he and Tom Haberstroh are putting together post-game. He told you don't double Jokic. Don't double him.
Let him eat.
Let him eat. And
he ate.
And he does eat. I don't know if you saw this, Stugotz. Skip Bayless kept calling Jokic lucky shots. He called it greasing them in. He said he's a big tub of Crisco. And George Karl said of Skip Bayless, the man is an embarrassment to sports media. because that is exactly how Jokic does it. It's farted over here. It's with his elbow. You don't understand how it is that it's got 7 pivot moves and then it just dribbles in because he's intent on breaking your heart with, no, I'm not going to swish it. It's going to look to you like it's coming off and I'm going to bleed you to death 1 bounce at a time, 7 bounces on the rim.
There's multiple possessions in that game where you're like, he was well defended there, and it just doesn't matter.
No, you find yourself screaming, how?
It's not just well defended there. It is, Bam's got a right to say, I do this as well as anyone, Anthony Davis included. I am as good at defense as he is at offense, and no, you're not. And I love your defense. It's hugely important, and no, you're not. And the MVP of the league is now 0-3, Stugotz, because he should be 3-time MVP. Mm-hmm. And Duncan Robinson is mean-mugging him. Down 7 in the fourth, headed into the fourth quarter, Duncan Robinson's going to bail you out.
I mean, he changed that game. You got to give him credit. I mean, Duncan was ready. It's always a different guy seemingly every night for the Heat. And last night it was Gabe Vincent, and Strus gave you a good start in the first quarter. But then Duncan came and turned that game around.
That Duncan Robinson mean mug kind of reminded me of Tyler Hero's mean mug, and now I'm worried.
What's similar about those two?
Worried because Tyler Hero's mean mug ended up losing later in the playoffs after beating the Celtics?
Exactly. No, Lakers series.
But didn't he mean mug in the Celtics series? Yeah.
It was the Lakers series.
Yeah, it was the Lakers series. Yeah.
Okay, so now you so I just want to hear Roy's analysis on this is you're now afraid they're going to lose because the superstition of Tyler Hero made a face and Duncan has made a face. Yeah, go sit in the penalty box.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. How's that any different than they haven't lost since March at home? There's been like 4 games since March. It's the NBA.
Not interested in disputing whether it's a penalty or not.
Oh, come on.
Get out.
It's a similar thing.
Get out. I don't care. It's terrible analysis. It's the same thing. Your analysis.
Wait until my Panthers analysis.
We may not get to it. You got to go, bro.
I got notes.
Rules.
Wow.
I'll give it to you later because I'm going to the penalty box.
Right.
See you guys
2 minutes.
We're sending him to Game 5 and Game 7. If there's Game 5 or Game 7, Vegas looks overwhelming.
How many?
So did the Nuggets in Game 1. I mean, what are we doing?
How many teams that have reached the finals have this where you know the two guys are going to be in at the end, Bam and Jimmy, but there's like 8 guys that could be in those final 3 spots. I feel like this is Spo. If we win this title, this is Spo's championship. It's not Jimmy, it's Spo. I'm waiting for one time for Mark Jackson or Jeff Van Gundy to tell me that a coach on the other team has done something. All I hear is Spo's zone, Spo starting Kevin Love. I haven't heard anything Mike Malone has done, Mazzulla, Tom Thibodeau, the Butcher. Spo is running circles around these other coaches in this playoffs.
Chris, but Mike Malone was really good. He doesn't like Mike. Michael Malone was really good in the first game where they blew him out. Like, he was excellent.
All right, I'm not doing.
I'm asking, what are his adjustments?
I'm not doing. No, listen. I want to play this sound of Erik Spoelstra really dismissing Ramona Shelburne in a way that was unnecessary. I mean, at this time of year, the Heat have so much bleep off in them, like all of you. We don't care what any of you think about anything. That Spo is being uncharacteristic with a career reporter who is very good, being rude, answering a question that all the broadcasters were talking about last night, and everybody was noticing, which is, when Jokic scores 40, they've lost 3 times, but if he's the centerpiece of the offense and just passing the ball to everybody, if you take away his passing, then all of a sudden you might win the game, and suppose you're all idiots. You're all idiots and assholes.
The video team is working on that. Before they get to that sound, can I just talk about...
Good setup, though.
I'm just saying, Kyle...
Okay, $5. Are you in charge today? Are you in charge? Because we've got chaos coming, and you're the alleged executive producer. Put $5 in here, and you're handling everything, and it's already a little messy.
Now he's mad.
Well, who are you mad at? The video department? You're mad at the video department?
No, we have the video.
Chris is rattled right now, Dan. What are you doing?
I want to talk to Chris for a second. This is because we're headed into a week of chaos, and if Chris isn't going to control things, I got to find someone who is. Because Mike Ryan's in Vegas already, and I don't trust what's happening there in any way.
How could you?
Amin is looking for the Jokic brothers. He's looking.
Why?
I don't know.
What a scary assignment that is.
I don't know.
Those are 2 guys I would not be looking for. I mean, sorry.
And Roy has notes.
Oh.
And so we've got to get to the Roy notes.
If you want to know what I'm up to, I was trying to figure out a way because all of the broadcasters are very in love with Spolstra. So I was trying to find a joke to feed Stugotz to say that they have sponers.
But you couldn't find it?
I couldn't get there, and then we started looking for the video, and then we were talking about Ramona Shelburne, and Roy had notes, and it was just there's a lot going on.
Well, yes, put it on the poll. Do all the broadcasters have sponers? And yes, Chris Cody is saying, what you got, adjustments, Michael Malone, even though none of us know what the bleep we're talking about with this stuff. The adjustments
Not my assessment.
The adjustments were the Heat made half their threes. And when they do that, they tend to win. They did it 8 times during the season. They did it 4 times against the Celtics, twice against the Bucks, and now they've done it in Denver. You shoot 50% from 3, you're largely going to win.
But Spo is watching film. He's making adjustments. Malone is just yelling at his players. Play harder.
More effort.
Play better defense.
More effort.
How about you, coach? I mean, seriously.
He said, Malone says flatly, we're going down to Miami and we're going to win one because we're going to be more disciplined and we're going to work harder.
Great.
It also helps when you have more than 2 free throws and maybe a goaltend, maybe.
A goaltend. Jimmy stepped out of bounds. Again, they lost.
We got some help.
The Nuggets lost by 3 and they gave up 4 Zeller points. The Zeller stuff is funny, man. He gets stripped as often as I would out there.
We criticized Zeller, but he had as many baskets in that game as Porter.
He is clumsy.
He is, yes.
He is clumsy, and I don't trust him to not be clumsy. And Channing Frye said, because we're all untrained eyes, Channing Frye, who played, says you got to start Zeller against Jokic.
That's an all-timer.
You can't do
You
that.
got to start Zeller. Not Love and pull some people out so that Love can be on Aaron Gordon. Yeah, more Zeller minutes is the answer. Do you understand how much fewer Zeller minutes there need to be?
This is Spo's time, though. I'm telling you. This is what we're going to look back on 20 years from now. This was Spo's championship.
I agree, yes. Well, if they win the championship.
They have not won the championship yet. Let's slow down, Homer guy, okay? Let's slow down. Homer guy, rah-rah, coach, my coach is the greatest, and just play the sound.
I'm just waiting for one adjustment. I just want to hear Van Gundy or Mark Jackson, because I agree with you. I'm not seeing these adjustments, but I hear them praising Spo, and I don't hear them saying anything. It's all Jokic over there.
But just so that you understand, because Spo is directing this at everybody, because it's not just Ramona Shelburne, it's everybody who was saying, oh, you just get Jokic to stop getting assists. You can't do that. That's not a thing. He's the MVP of the league. He gets usually whatever he wants. You don't prevent him from doing anything. Maybe some zone will work a little bit. But Spo's talking to everyone when he's saying, your eye's not as trained as mine. Everybody.
Hey, Coach. Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. This is probably oversimplifying things, but sometimes when teams play against Jokic, you turn him into a scorer, you turn him into a passer, and he controls the game. He only had 4 assists tonight.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's just... That's the untrained eye that says something like that. This guy's an incredible player. Twice in 2 seasons, he's been the best player on this planet. You can't just say, oh, make him a scorer. That's not how they play. They have so many different actions that just get you compromised. We have to focus on what we do. We try to do things the hard way. And he requires you to do many things the hard way. He has our full respect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
The question being asked of him, part of the reason that it's funny, he knows how hard what it was to do that to them. Because here, Spo, your magic toolbox, here, I'm going to put it in with my elbow, and it's going to bounce 7 times on the rim, and I'm just going to keep doing that. And that whole Bam advantage that you have, he's going to get stuck in my armpit. And I'm going to keep scoring.
You felt like that was rude of Spo, that response? I felt like he did it with a smile. He was very respectful.
No.
Hey, he's tired of the analysis because the analysis is bad.
No, that was not a smile.
I mean, that's not a smile.
No, sharks don't smile. Like, that's not a smile. No. That coach in that moment was a cannibal.